Horrid Henry goes to work. Duh, duh, duh! It's your turn. No, it's yours. Yours. I took Henry last year, said Mum. Dad paused. Are you sure? Yes, said Mum. Are you sure you're sure? Said Dad. He looked pale. Of course I'm sure. How could I forget? Tomorrow was Take Your Child to Work Day. Mum wanted to take Peter. Dad wanted to take Peter. Unfortunately, someone had to take Henry. Only today, Dad's boss had said how much he was looking forward to meeting Dad's lovely son. Of course, I'll be bringing my boy Bill, said Big Bob. He's a great kid. Good as gold, smart as a whip, superb footballer, brilliant at maths, plays trumpet like a genius, perfect manners. Yep, I sure am proud of Bill. Dad tried not to hate Bill. He failed. Now listen, Henry, said Dad. You're coming to work with me tomorrow. I'm warning you, my boss is bringing his son. From what I hear, he's perfect. Like me, said Peter. I'd love to meet him. We could swap good deeds ideas. Do you think he'd like to join my Best Boys Club? You're going to Mum's work, said Dad sadly. I'm taking Henry. Cool, said Henry. A day out of school, a day at the office. I want to play computer games and eat donuts and surf the web. No, said Dad. An office is a place where people work. I want perfect behaviour. My boss is very strict. Don't let me down, Henry. Course I won't, said Henry. He was outraged. How could Dad think such a thing? The only trouble was, how could Henry have any fun with a boring goody-goody like Bill around? Remember what I said, Henry, said Dad the next morning as they arrived at his office. Be nice to Bill. Do what he says. He's the boss's son. Try to be as good as he is. All right, said Henry sourly. Dad's boss came to welcome them. Ah, you must be Henry, said Big Boss. This is my son, Bill. So pleased to meet you, Henry, said Bossy Bill. Huh, grunted Horrid Henry. He looked at Bossy Bill. He was wearing a jacket and tie. His face was gleaming. His shoes were so polished. Henry could see his dirty face in them. Just his luck to get stuck all day with boring old Bossy Bill. Right, boys, your first job is to make tea for everyone in the meeting room, said Bisbog. Do I have to? Said Horrid Henry. Henry, said Dad. Yes, said Big Boss. That's 6 teas, 1 sugar in each. Gee, thanks, Dad, said Bossy Bill. I love making tea. Whoopee, muttered Horrid Henry. Big Boss beamed and left the room. Horrid Henry was alone with Bossy Bill. The moment Big Boss left, Bill's face changed. Why doesn't he make his own stupid tea? He snarled. I thought you loved making tea, said Horrid Henry. Maybe things were looking up. No way, said Bossy Bill. What am I, a servant? You make it. You make it, said Horrid Henry. You make it, said Bossy Bill. No, said Henry. Yes, said Bill. It's my dad's company and you have to do what I say. No, I don't, said Henry. Yes, you do, said Bill. I don't work for you, said Henry. Yeah, but your dad works for my dad, said Bossy Bill. And if you don't do what I say, I'll tell my dad to fire your dad. Horrid Henry glared at Bossy Bill, then slowly switched on the kettle. When he was king, he'd build a shark tank specially for Bill. Bossy Bill folded his arms and smirked as Henry poured hot water over the tea bags. What a creep, thought Henry, licking his fingers and dropping them into the sugar bowl. You're disgusting, said Bossy Bill. I'm telling on you. Go ahead, said Henry, licking sugar off his fingers. Next to his cousin, stuck-up Steve, Bossy Bill was the yuckiest kid he had ever met. "Hey, I've got a great idea," said Bill. "Let's put salt in the tea instead of sugar." Horrid Henry hesitated. But hadn't Dad said to do what Bill told him? "Okay," said Henry. Bossy Bill poured a heaped teaspoon of salt into every cup. "Now watch this," said Bill. "Thank you, Bill," said Mr. String. Aren't you clever?" "Thank you, Bill," said Mrs. Bean. "Aren't you wonderful?" "Thanks, Bill," said Big Boss. "How's the tea, everyone?" "Delicious," said Mr. String. He put down the cup. "Delightful," said Mrs. Bean. She put down the cup. Said Dad. He put down the cup. Then Big Boss took a sip. His face curdled. "Disgusting," he gasped, spitting out the tea. "Blanche! Who put salt in this?" "Henry did," said Bill. Horrid Henry was outraged. "Liar," said Henry. "You did." "This tea is revolting," said Mr. String. "Horrible, horrible," said Mrs. Bean. "I tried to stop him, Dad, but he just wouldn't listen," said Bossy Bill. "I'm disappointed in you, Henry," said Big Bob. "Bill would never do anything like this." He glanced at Dad. Dad looked as if he had wished an alien spaceship would beam him up. "But I didn't do it," said Henry. He stared at Bill. What a creep. "Now run along, boys, and help answer the phones. Bill will show you how, Henry," said Big Bob. Horrid Henry followed Bill out of the meeting room. "Beware, Bill," he thought. "I'll get you for this." Bill sat down at a huge desk and swung his feet up. "Now copy me," he said. "Answer the phones just like I do." Ring, ring. "Hello, Elephant House," said Bill. Ring, ring. "Hello, Tootsie's Takeaway," said Bill. Ring, ring. "Hello, Pizza Parlor," said Bill. Ring, ring. "Go on, Henry. Answer it." "No," said Henry. After what had just happened with the tea, he'd never trust Bill again. Ring, ring. "What are you? Chicken?" said Bill. "No," said Henry. "Then go on. I did it." Ring, 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 ring. "All right," said Henry. He picked up the phone. He'd just do it once. "Hello, Smelly. You're fired." Silence. "Is that you, Henry?" said Big Boss on the other end of the phone. "Wrong number," squeaked Horrid Henry and slammed down the phone. Uh-oh. Now he was in trouble. Big, big trouble. Big Boss stormed into the room. "What's going on in here?" "I tried to stop him, but he just wouldn't listen," said Bossy Bill. "That's not true," squealed Horrid Henry. "You started it." "As if," said Bossy Bill. "And what have you been doing, son?" asked Big Boss. "Testing the phones for you," said Bossy Bill. "I think there's a fault in line 2. I'll fix it in a minute." "That's my little genius," beamed Big Boss. He glared at Henry. Henry glared back. "I told you to follow Bill's example," hissed Dad. "I did," hissed Henry. Bossy Bill and Big Boss exchanged pitying glances. "He's not usually like this," lied Dad. He looked as if he wished a whirlwind would whisk him away. "I am usually like this," said Henry. "Just not today." "No pocket money for a year if there's any more trouble," muttered Dad. This was so unfair. Why should he get blamed when it was absolutely, definitely not his fault? "I'll give you one more chance," said Big Boss. He handed Henry a stack of papers. "Photocopy these for the meeting this afternoon," he said. If there are any more problems, I will ask your father to take you home. Take him home? Dad would never, ever forgive him. He was mad enough at Henry already, and it was all Bill's fault. Scowling, Horrid Henry followed Bill into the photocopying room. Ha 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 ha, I got you in trouble, chortled Bill. Horrid Henry resisted the urge to mash Bossy Bill into tiny bite-sized chunks. Instead, Horrid Henry started to think. Even if he was good as gold all day, it would mean Bill had won. He had to come up with a plan to get back at Bill. Fast. But what's anything awful Bill did, Henry was sure to get the blame. No one would believe Henry hadn't done it. If his plan was to work, Bill had to be caught red-handed. And then Horrid Henry had it. A perfectly brilliant, spectacular, evil plan. A plan to end all plans. A plan to go down in history. A plan, but there was no time to lose congratulating himself. Bossy Bill snatched the papers from Henry's hand. I get to do the photocopying because it's my dad's office, he said. If you're good, I might let you hand out the papers. Whatever you say, said Horrid Henry humbly. After all, you're the boss. Too right I am, said Bossy Bill. Everyone has to do what I say. Of course, said Horrid Henry agreeably. Hey, I've got a great idea, he added after a moment. Why don't we make horrid faces, photocopy them, and hang the pictures all around the meeting room? Bossy Bill's eyes gleamed. Yeah, he said. He stuck out his tongue. He made a monkey face. He twisted his lips. Ha ha ha. Then he paused. Wait a minute. We'd be recognised. Ah! Horrid Henry hadn't thought of that. His beautiful plan crumpled before him. Bill would win. Henry would lose. The terrible image of Bossy Bill laughing at him from here to eternity loomed before him. No one ever tricked Horrid Henry and lived. I need a change of plan, thought Henry desperately. And then he knew what had to be done. It was risky, it was dangerous, but it was the only way. Oh no, said Horrid Henry. Let's photocopy our bottoms instead. Yeah, said Bossy Bill. I was just going to suggest that. I've got to go first, said Horrid Henry, shoving Bill out of the way. No, I do, said Bill, shoving him back. Yes, thought Horrid Henry, as Bill hopped onto the photocopier. You can paste up the pictures in the meeting room. Great, said Henry. He could tell what Bill was thinking. He'd get his dad to come in while Henry was sellotaping pictures of bottoms around the meeting room. I'll just get some sellotape, said Henry. You do that, said Bossy Bill, as the photocopier whirred into life. Horrid Henry ran down the hall into Big Boss's office. Come quick, Bill's in trouble, said Horrid Henry. Big Boss dropped the phone and raced down the hall after Henry. Hold on, Bill, Daddy's coming! He shrieked and burst into the photocopying room. There was Bossy Bill, perched on the photocopier, his back to the door, singing merrily. 1 bottom, 2 bottoms, 3 bottoms, 4, 5 bottoms, 6 bottoms, 7 bottoms more. Bill! Screamed Big Boss. It was Henry! Screamed Bossy Bill. I was just testing the photocopier to make sure. Be quiet, Bill, shouted Big Boss. I saw what you were doing. I tried to stop him, but he just wouldn't listen, said Horrid Henry. Horrid Henry spent a lovely rest of the day at Dad's office. After Bill was grounded for a month and sent home in disgrace, Henry twirled all the chairs round and round. He sneaked up behind people and shouted, "Boo!" Then he ate donuts. played computer games, and surfed the web. Boy, working in an office is fun, thought Horrid Henry. I'm going to enjoy getting a job when I grow up.